Because Honkai Star Rail only has 2 available healers in its character roster in 1.0, that of which being Natasha and Bailu, this gives Bailu an inflated amount of perceived value to people. Because you want to run 1 healer each in Memory of Chaos. But I believe that Bailu is such a worse healer compared to Natasha. And let me explain why. So you're probably going to think I'm crazy for comparing a 4-star healer that you get just by playing the game versus Bailu, who requires you to pull or spend your 300 pulls on. And that's because Bailu is not a good healer. Bailu's kit, or healing in general, thrives when your characters are full, which is not what a healer should do. A healer should thrive when their characters are low HP. And this further cements that idea that Bailu wants to heal characters at full HP with her skill. Her skill works as any heal like Natasha, where you target one ally and that ally is healed. But Bailu's skill will have an additional 2 bounces of heal, which are less than the first heal, but will randomly target allies in your team. And this is an incredible pain point because sometimes you want to heal all of your characters evenly, or you want to heal like maybe 2 other characters, but sometimes it just targets 1 character, or the inverse can happen where you want to heal all, where you want to pour all of the healing into 1 character, but it spreads out to other characters, or maybe even other characters who don't need the healing, which makes her healing just so inconsistent. And it's further cemented that she wants to heal characters that are full HP. When you look at her second bonus ability, when she heals a target ally that is full, she'll increase their max HP. And if you are unlucky enough to get E1 just like I did, when Invigoration ends, characters regenerate 8 energy for the characters who have it, which is incredibly useless since it rarely comes up. Now, Invigoration is a pretty useful healing since it's proactive, and if your characters take a hit, they can just get some extra health back. While I would say that that is very good, it's really not, because it's on the Invigoration is on the condition that you will heal if you survive the hit. If you can't take the hit when you're at like maybe 10%, 30% HP, you're gonna die, and Invigoration is essentially useless. This makes Bailu a win more character. If you're already in a winning position, or you're already in an advantageous position where you're not at risk of dying, Bailu is gonna be best in it. But in situations where you need consistent healing, Bailu's not cut out for that. Now, let's talk about one more thing. Her revive. Bailu does have a revive, but this is, again, overinflated in its value. Right now, we only need revive, tools for reviving in battle, because our team comps are not that good, and our characters are not geared. When our characters are more geared and our team comps are more solid, the value of a revive will plummet. And this is the same thing with Barbara in Genshin Impact. Barbara in Genshin Impact does have a revive, but no one uses Barbara because Barbara's not exactly a good healer. So yeah. Natasha now is a character that benefits off healing allies who are low or at 30% or lower HP, indicated by her talent. When healing allies at 30% or lower HP increases Natasha's outgoing healing by 32%, and it also works on continuous healing. In the cases where your allies take 1 hit and they're low, that healing them can just bring them back up almost to full, which is incredibly nice. Not to mention, it also affects her continuous healing, and her continuous healing often comes from her skill. She'll target 1 ally and heal them, and will apply continuous healing, which is when the 2 turns pass, it will be basically equal to 1 E-skill heal when she targets and heals. Now, you'll probably think, but this continuous healing is very slow, so why? It's not like Bailu where if you get hit, you'll get healed. It's because this continuous healing is incredibly strong. Again, it's worth half of the initial heal of Natasha's skill. And not to mention, it could be increased by the outgoing healing. So characters that are advanced forward will just be healed continuously. And I don't know how to phrase that better, but yeah. It's basically a more unconditional way of healing versus Bailu, where Bailu's invigoration has to heal when you get hit, here you can heal when you take your turn. One thing that I feel like is a bit underrated in Natasha's kit is her cleanse. So with bosses that will freeze your allies, or even the one where Imaginary does, where they just trap you or whatever, I forget what it's called. It just helps. Natasha's skill will just help remove that and allow your team to like give its utility, especially when, like, for example, I'm doing a Cocolia fight, and Cocolia will almost always target Gepard, and Gepard will need to always be active for him to activate his shield for the entire team. And if he's frozen, well, where's my defense? But with Natasha, if I heal Gepard, he will just immediately he'll be able to use his ult because he'll be cleansed out of his freeze. And I don't feel like it comes up very much, but if there's more enemies that have more CC, this will be incredibly useful over time. So in summary, Bailu is much worse of a healer than Natasha is, because Bailu wants to heal your characters at full HP and gives no benefit when they're low HP, unlike Natasha. Natasha will just boost your characters back up from 30 to like almost 100 just because of her increased amount of healing, and your characters will still get healing even if they take damage when they take their turn with Natasha's continuous healing. And this is something I feel like people are not they're not taking into consideration. And ever since I've tried to use Natasha over Bailu, I haven't felt the need to use Bailu, ironically. It's just Natasha is such a better healer, and most of the time I'm really just normal attacking with Bailu. And while you can say, oh, then have Bailu as a skill point generator, and it's like, then just go for characters that are more skill point efficient. But Natasha also does the same thing. Well, even more, because Natasha can thrive at healing allies at low HP. Natasha can hold off on healing allies when they're 50% and maybe wait until they're lower so that you get more value in your healing. With Bailu, you basically have to shotgun your healing because you don't get any benefit from healing your allies at low HP, and that just increases the risk for absolutely no reason at all. So yeah, if you made it this far, thanks. See y'all later. Bye.